Hello everyone. Today I am going to teach you all your first chapter of physics, that is motion. Before getting into the explanation part of this chapter, let us have an introduction. You know, physics is a science of nature. And when we make a study of nature, it is a very vast study. That is why it has been divided into its different parts and streams. Among those parts and streams, the most important and the oldest stream is mechanics. So here we are dealing with the mechanics branch of physics. Okay, so in this part, in this stream, we will study about motion. So what is mechanics? Mechanics is that branch of physics in which we will study about motion. Is that clear? Now let us begin with the chapter. So as the name of the chapter of this lesson suggests, motion. So motion is nothing but, the meaning of this term is movement. So whenever there will be movement around us, we will say that there is motion. The term motion is defined as if there is change in any object from one point to another, or if a body changes its position from one position to another position as the time passes. With the passage of time, we say that the body is in motion. So it is defined as when a body changes its position with respect to its surrounding or reference point, it is said to be in motion. This is how motion is defined. And let us suppose you are standing at a point, you are just standing at a place. Do you say that you are in motion, or if you are moving? No, you aren't moving because you are just fixed at a point. Now in another scenario, if you start moving from your home towards your school, then can you say that you are moving or you are in motion? Yes, you are in motion because your position changes from one point, that is from your home to towards your school. As the time passes, your position is not same anymore, right? So your position changes gradually and you finally reach from your home towards to your school. So you are in motion in the second case. So when a body is said to be in motion, a body is only said to be in motion if its position changes with time, with the passage of time. If the body changes its position from one point to another, we will say that body is in motion. In contrast of this, we have another term, that is rest. So rest is nothing but opposite of motion. If any body is just fixed at a point, it is not changing its position at all, it is stationary at a point or at a position, then we will say that the body is at rest or the body is stationary. Rest. So this is all about motion and rest. Next thing is that motion of a particle. Now there, since we are talking about motions, so there are certain characteristics which describes the motion of a particle. How we can describe the motion of a particle? Let us see. Describing motion of a particle. The properties and the characteristic which is related to this description is that there are in order to understand this in detail, there should be certain quantities, and there has to be certain physical quantities rather in order to understand the description of motion of a particle. So here there are certain physical quantities to understand this mathematically and technically as well. So the first thing that is needed, the first quantity that is needed to describe motion of a particle is position. That is very important. To know about position, and the next thing is distance and displacement. So these are some physical quantities which describes the motion of a particle. What do you mean by position? First let us see what is position. The position of an object, it is a point. The position is a point. It is actually a fixed point where a body or an object is located. Correct? So position is a point where a body is located. So if we say that this is the body and this is point A, this body is not moving, it is at rest. Now if at another interval of time, if the position of the body changes, or if we say that if the position of the body changes from point A to point B as soon as it started to move, if there is any movement in the body, then the position of the object, this object will change from point A to point B in this direction. So we will say that this position, there is motion in this object. In this case, there is motion. The body is not at rest and the position has changed. Which are the two positions? That is the 2 points. This point A and point B. Initially, when the body was at rest, at this point, at point A, the body was at rest. But as soon as it started to change its position and it approached to point B, the position of the body changed from point A to point B. So these 2 points, this point A and this point B, are the 2 positions of this body which is moving. Alright, so this is the fixed point. And this point A, that is also termed as the origin or the reference point of any moving object. Is that clear? So this is about the distance. Next thing is, this is about the position. Next thing is the distance. So to understand these two physical quantities, let us take an example. So when you have, suppose you at a one time, if you are at home, and if you are moving to your school at another interval of time, you will start to move and you will follow the direction of your school. So you are covering a distance from your home to your school, and that is that physical quantity which describes your position from your home to your school. Okay, so if anything is moving, if any object is moving from one point to another, then there is a certain magnitude that defines the total distance covered by that body. So the total path covered by the body or any moving object is known as the distance. If we take an example of a moving object, that if a boy is moving from point A to point B, then it is covering certain amount of distance. And what is that distance? This distance is the length of this path. Length of the path. So this is the path. Which is the path? This is the path along which the body is moving. Now from point B, again the boy started to move from point B to point C. This is the point. Again, this is also the path along which the body is moving. Now from point C to point D, D to E. Now, if you are asked, then what is the total distance covered by the object or the body in this path journey? So, the total distance covered will be nothing but the sum up of the total length. Okay, total length of the path. So, which are the path? The path AB, then BC, then CD, then this will be DE, and this will be F. So, the total path, the total distance will be the total path, and that will be AB plus BC plus CD plus DE plus EF. This will be the total distance. Understood? So what do you mean by distance? Distance is the total path length covered by any moving object. It is defined as total path length. Okay, so this is about distance. There are certain values also which is associated with this physical quantity. It is defined as total path length of a body in any direction. In any direction. So there is no certain fixed direction in which the body is moving. This distance is irrespective of direction. It doesn't depend upon the direction, that in which direction the body or the boy is moving. Okay, so if you are covering a certain distance, and if you are asked that how much distance did you cover, what do you say? अगर आपसे पूछा जाता है कि आपने अपने घर से स्कूल तक कितना डिस्टेंस कवर किया, कितना डिस्टेंस आपने चला, कितना डिस्टेंस आपने वॉक किया, what did you say? You only say the value of the distance, that I walked 5 kilometer or I traveled 5 kilometer distance. So this is just the value of the distance. You don't describe your whole past journey like you usually we don't describe like कि मैंने अपने घर से 500 meter towards south direction I went, then from south direction I went towards west, 200 मीटर, फिर साउथ वेस्ट से मैंने ईस्ट आया 700 मीटर. वी डोंट डिस्क्राइब लाइक दिस यूजुअली, राइट. हम सिर्फ अपना टोटल वैल्यू जो डिस्टेंस हमने कवर किया दैट ओनली वी यूज टू describe. Okay, so this is how, what is distance? It is the path length of a body in any direction. We don't describe the direction here, we just mention the value. So it is irrespective of direction, and if any quantity is irrespective of direction, we call it scalar quantity. That I'll describe it afterward, this distance. So distance is denoted by, it is denoted by a symbol that is S. This is the symbol of S. SI unit, any physical quantity, since this is a physical quantity, so this distance is also having a unit. And what is that unit? The SI unit of distance is, actually this is having 2 units. So SI unit, that is among 2 units of distance, one smaller unit of distance is meter. When we used to calculate the distance in small quantity, so we use this unit, that is meter, denoted by M. Okay, bigger unit is kilometer. You know well, bigger unit of distance is kilometer. So these are the SI unit of distance. Is that clear to all? 1000 meter is equal to 1 kilometer. This is the relation among meter and kilometer. Now let us talk about some physical quantities and their properties. Thereafter I will describe about displacement. Some physical quantities, are broadly classified into 2 groups, that is scalar quantity and vector quantity. So these are the 2 properties of any physical quantity, that in scalar quantity, if any physical quantity which only depends upon the magnitude but not in the direction, are known as scalar quantity. As I mentioned, that distance is that physical quantity which does not depend upon the direction. It only depends upon the magnitude, that is its value. Alright, so scalar quantity, any physical quantity that only depends on its magnitude. What do you mean by magnitude? Magnitude is the value of that physical quantity. Examples, so many examples are there, but in this chapter distance is a scalar quantity, and other examples of scalar quantity are time, temperature, and many other, that volume. So these are the physical quantity which are termed as, which comes under the category of scalar quantity. Next is our vector quantity. So vector quantity are the quantities which depends upon both magnitude as well as directions. So any physical quantity depends upon, here I am writing in short, it depends upon both magnitude and direction, right? So vector quantity depends upon magnitude and directions. So examples of this vector quantity will be displacement. Okay, so displacement is that physical quantity which depends upon magnitude as well as direction. Example of to understand this vector quantity in detail, that is what do you mean by displacement. Let us see. If again I will take that same example of the path journey, that if a body is moving from point A, then it reaches point B at another interval of time, then at point C, then D, then E. Okay, but what are the 2 points? What are the 2 initial and final points? The 2 initial and final points are nothing but A and E. The A was the destination of A was what? E only. To reach point E, first it went point B, then from point B to point C, then from point C to point D, and finally point E. This is the total path of the distance covered by the body in this path journey. But here, if we will take the shortest route, okay, that is the shortest distance. This is the longest distance from point A to point B. But we have one another way also, that is the shortcut, which is the shortest way, which is the shortest path. This is the longest path, but this is the shortest path. Okay, so here we have, that this from A, B, B, C, C, D and D is what? This is the distance. If you are asked to calculate the distance in this journey, so you will have to sum up A, B plus B, C, C, D and D, E, the total path length. But from point A to E, we don't have any other points. We don't just have 2 points. That is, this is the initial, that is the origin, initial point, and point E is the final point, final position, that is also the destination, final point. So this from point A to point E, that is AE, will be your displacement, right? AB is your displacement. And what is this AE? AE is the shortest path. This is the shortest route. So always the shortest route will be considered as the displacement of any object, whereas the longest route, that is the total length path, will be considered as the distance of any moving object. Alright, so characteristic of this distance and displacement, there is one major difference, that distance depends upon only magnitude but not in the direction, whereas displacement depends upon both magnitude as well as direction. See how? This, to reach point from point A to point E, there is only one direction. This is the only one direction and this is the only one way to reach point E. अगर हम इधर से approach करते हैं, if we start to move from point A in this direction, again we have to follow this particular path. But to follow the shortest path, to shortest route, we need to move along this direction. So this is the displacement, this is the shortest path, shortest route. So we have to follow this path, this direction. So displacement depends upon direction here. Okay, so displacement, what is displacement? Displacement is defined as the shortest route or path of a body in a given direction. Is that clear? This is the definition of displacement. Again, this is just related with distance. This is nothing but the distance, the path, or the certain amount of path or traveled by any moving object. So displacement and distance, this both are same, but the difference is that one is scalar quantity, whereas the other one is the other physical quantity, that is displacement is a vector quantity. Distance depends upon only magnitude, whereas displacement depend upon both magnitude as well as direction. Okay, so this is one difference, okay, and this is the major difference. Don't get confused among distance and displacement. But the symbol for distance and displacement will be same. Symbol for distance was S. That symbol for displacement will be also S. Okay, and SI unit. SI unit also will be common for both distance and displacement. For distance, it was, what was the SI unit? It was meter and kilometer. Here also the displacement, the SI unit of displacement will be meter and kilometer. The relation, everything will be same. Difference will be that it is a vector quantity. But if in any problem, if you are mentioning that distance and displacement, it is very important to mention that it is a vector quantity and distance is a scalar quantity. And how we can distinguish? By simply, if this is a distance and if this is a displacement, so displacement in displacement or in any vector quantities, we usually put a arrowhead. Okay, so this is displacement, whereas this is distance. Here we don't have any arrowhead, but in displacement we have an arrowhead. So you understood the difference? This is the vector quantity. For vector quantity we put an arrowhead on the symbol. Again, if we have any other symbol, like if we have velocity, we usually denote with V. So there will be an arrowhead. So this arrow is a symbol for vector quantity, any kind of vector quantity. So this was all about distance and displacement. Next is our categories of, we have some categories of motion also. So generally the motion is broadly classified into two categories. It has several types also. Some of the types are rectilinear motion. These are the types. Rectilinear motion. What is rectilinear motion? Now let us see. This rectilinear motion, from the word it is clear that linear. Linear, by the term linear we mean that something which is in a straight line. Linear means straight line. So if any body, if any moving object is following a straight line path, we will call it a rectilinear motion. Example, there we have plenty of examples. If any moving object, like a motion of a moving car. So car usually move in a straight line path like this or like this or like this. So these all are the examples of rectilinear motion, since there is a straight line. So wherever the motion will be in a straight line path, we will call it a rectilinear motion. Secondly, we have circular motion. Circular motion, we have another term, that is circular motion. In this circular motion, I think from the word itself define this word, that the circular motion, any object, any moving body moving in a circular path, we will call it this kind of motion as circular motion. Okay, so this is circular motion. Examples for this circular motion will be the motion of a moving blades of a fan. That follows the circular motion, that is circular motion, or any kind of motion of a spinning top, that is also circular motion. The motion of our planet, that is also circular motion. Sometimes it is also termed as rotational motion. So circular motion and rotational motion both are same. Next we have vibratory motion, periodic motion. So what do you mean by vibratory motion? To and fro or back and forth motion are termed as vibratory motion. Okay, examples of vibratory motion are the motion of a pendulum or the motion of a swing. That is also a kind of vibratory motion. Periodic motion, that's something, a kind of motion which happens in a certain interval of time. We will call it a periodic motion, like motion of a hands of a clock, that is periodic motion. Happening of the season, okay, that is also periodic motion. That after a certain fixed interval of time only, if that motion occurs again, we will call it a periodic motion. These are the some types of motion, but the classification of motion is mostly done in two categories, that is uniform and non-uniform motion. So we have uniform and non-uniform motion. First we will talk about uniform motion. So a kind of, it is defined as if a body covers equal distance in an equal interval of time, we will say it is in uniform motion. Okay, so definition of uniform motion says that if a body covers equal distance in equal interval of time, then it will be uniform motion. Examples, there are plenty of examples here also. If we say that if a moving train, it is moving in a speed of a fixed, there is a uniform speed of a vehicle or a moving vehicle. So here I am taking the example of a moving train. So, and if a train is moving with a fixed speed, that we say if it is moving with a speed of 190 km per hour. 190 kilometer per hour. This is the velocity or the speed of the train. Okay, and this train is moving from one destination of another destination. Suppose the train is moving from Chandigarh to Delhi. Okay, and the distance it has to cover is 260 kilometer. Let us suppose this, and the fixed velocity, that is the speed of the train, is 190 kilometer per hour. So what do you mean by this 190 kilometer per hour? It is nothing but, here one quantity, one value is 190 kilometer. That is the distance covered by the train in 1 hour. Okay, per hour, distance 190 kilometer in 1 hour. So it means that in every 1 hour, what is the distance covered by the train? It is covering 190 kilometer. Okay, it's for every 1 hour. So if this we take like 1 hour, it is covering 190 kilometer. Suppose we say it is 60 kilometer. For first hour, it is taking 60 kilometer. Okay, and again, this is another example. This example I am giving in a tabular form. So first hour, if a body is covering a distance of 60 kilometer per hour, 60 kilometer, then this is the distance and this is time. For next hour, in the second hour, if the body is covering how much? It is covering 80 kilometer. This is the distance for next hour. For the next hour, this is second hour. For next 1 hour, the distance covered is how much? I'm just taking 100 kilometers. Now you see what is the difference in the time interval. The difference in the time interval, this is second hour, in the second hour, and this is the third hour. Total time taken is how much? It is 3, 2 and 1, 1, 1. That is 3 hours. And this is the total distance covered by a moving object. Now you see what is the difference in the time interval, 2 and 1, 1 hour. Here also the distance in the difference in the time interval, that is 3 and 2, 1 hour. So as you can see, the time interval difference is same from first. Initially it has started moving in this particular. It has started to move from 1 hour and it has covered to, it has managed to cover a distance of 60 kilometers. Then in the next hour also it has covered a 80 kilometer of distance. In the third hour it has covered a distance of 100 kilometers. So distance difference in the time interval by the moving object is we have got 1 hour, 1 hour. Difference in the distances also, how much? It is 20 kilometer. How come? That is 80 kilometer minus 60 kilometer, 20 kilometer. Here also 100 minus 80, you will get 20 kilometer. So in this case, what you can notice, here we have noticed that after every equal interval of time, the total distance covered was equal. Okay, so here the motion of this moving object will be considered as what? It will be just as uniform motion. Motion of this train also, if we take if the speed of this train is fixed, that is 190 kilometer every hour, that is the speed is neither increasing or decreasing. Even if the time will not increase or decrease by the way. But if the speed is also fixed, that is after every 1 hour, the speed will be 190 kilometer. Constantly it will move with the same speed. Then we will call that the motion of that moving train is a uniform motion. Okay, so this is all about uniform motion. If we see it graphically, that how we can see this graphical representation of a uniform motion, then it will be just a straight line along the two axes. If this is the two axis, x-axis and y-axis, suppose along x-axis I am taking time, here this is distance. Okay, now along these two axes, the nature of the graph will be somehow like this for uniform motion. Uniform motion, that is, it is constant. Okay, 1 hour, 2, 3, 4, here I am taking 10, 20, 30, 40, now you see. For 1 hour how much? 10 kilometer. For the next 1 hour how much? 2 kilometer. For this is 3 kilometer. For this is 4 kilometer. So this will be, the nature of the graph will be somehow like this, that is, it will be a straight line. Next we have non-uniform motion. In non-uniform motion, the motion of the particle, in non-uniform motion, the body covers unequal distance in equal interval of time. This is the difference. The body cars on equal distance in equal interval of time. Okay, so this is all about non-uniform motion. This is the difference also. Here the nature of the graph for non-uniform motion will be not a straight line. It will be somehow like this, or any kind of motion which there will, if you will got a curve in this slope, there we will say that the body is in non-uniform motion. So this was all about this chapter. We talked about motion, the body, when a body is at motion, when a body is at rest, describing the motion of a particle, about position of a particle, distance, displacement, uniform and non-uniform motion. In the next video, I will be sharing the remaining part. I will teach about the remaining part of the lesson. Till then, stay safe, stay home. Thank you.